Focus not on what you dislike in others outside of yourself. Focus in on what you can do to be the way that you want others to be. Be that for yourself, and be that on the path, on your path, on whatever path you're deciding to take. Be that for you. And this came to me. I was watching last night. My dad and mom actually both reached out separately asking for some help on meditating, and they said, "Can you meditate with me tonight?" And I said, "I have to do my own meditation, but here's a Wayne Dyer meditation for you." And then I on YouTube, when I was searching for a link for my dad, I found a video from Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, for those of you who may know him. And it was a video that he had spoken frequently on his teachings and his practices, really. And one of the things that really stood out was he said, go through the day. He said, tomorrow, go through the entire day and count how many times you think in your own head that you wish someone else would be different, that you wish someone else would have some kind of other experience because it's bothering you, because you're letting it bother you, or because it's just this reaction or trigger for you. Which all of that reaction trigger is just a mental pattern that is based on association, based on past, based on what we've experienced in the past, whether it's our own traumas or our own attachments. And so Wayne Dyer was talking about all of these great masters and leaders of our past, and was making sense of it as far as today. Hi, Fiona. Hi, guys. Say a quick hi for me here. And so I just wanted to share that with you because it hit me as I was walking my path in meditation, focusing on my breath, my walking path, my walking meditation, Barefoot focus. I could hear behind me music, and so it's raining. I can hear the birds. I can hear the rain patter on the leaves. It's so beautiful. And I love taking that in and then letting it go as I'm focusing on my intention. And my teacher Ajahn talks a lot about the great Ajahns in the past, and he said a lot of them gained awakening in walking meditations because it distracts the body. The body can be in a state of ease and peace on these kinds of hikes in the forest. And these were all forest ajahns, the Thai tradition in Buddhism. And so I find that I love being in a seated meditation, and I can do that for hours. But I love also taking my meditation on these walking paths here, Barefoot focus. And so behind me, I was hearing this music, and immediately I thought, why is this person playing music? He can't take in anything. He's just kind of, doubling down on his own, BS of whatever he's taking in from the outside. He's not able to have this new experience. So I went into a state of judgment, and also like this, ew, I don't like music on these paths. And immediately I promise you, within a second, I shifted into, oh yeah, Wayne Dyer and all the great masters remind us to offer this person goodness, to offer this person metta, we call it, well-being, a sense of well-being. Whatever that person is going through, he needed it, or he is attached to the music as he's hiking, and he is in a state of not being able to take in what's here. And that's his journey, right? That's his path. So we can't let that interfere with us. And so Wayne Dyer had this quote in the talk that I was listening to on YouTube, and he said, when that happens, have that trigger go off, that spark go off inside of your mind, and say to yourself, well, that's an interesting way to be a human, to experience being a human. That's an interesting way to experience being a human. And that's what immediately came to me as soon as I was like, oh, Robin doesn't like this. Immediately, oh wait, no, that's an interesting way to be a human. And so it helped me stay on my path. It helped me stay on my path, because how many times do we allow things outside of us to move us outside of our own intentions and path? Of course, that's, all of the great masters and innovators of our time who've ever created anything, it's because they've attentively focused, they have put their attention onto a single pointed view or path or purpose, intention. They have focused their attention, as Abraham Hicks says, they're a focus mechanism, and it's all of where the attention is going toward. And so we want to be aware of that. And so my teacher, he says, as the Buddha taught, that's the first step of keeping in mind what you want on your path to create the experience. Mindfulness, that's what mindfulness means. To hold in mind the thing that you want, the thing that you're desiring, the experience that you're aiming to receive and to step into and to embody as your experience. And if you're taking in so much from the outside as yours, you're not going to be able to. Mindfulness is not going to be easy, and that's why a lot of people, right, they have trouble meditating, because they can't keep in mind the thing inside of them, because they've practiced for so long letting the outside experience be the thing that they are bringing in, versus being the change, being the experience, and then having that be, oh, well, that's an interesting way to be a human. Having that curiosity, right? Having that observational perspective. Wayne Dyer also said that one of the most wonderful things that changed his life into a part of awakening his mind was the fact that, this is all about not being attached to anything, but yet embodying it all, as the whole. And so, we want to experience this wholeness and completion, but we also want to be aware where we're being attached or where we are attached. And it's all coming from the mental state. It's all coming from the mind. All of it is. All of our feelings and emotions and everything that's motivating us and inspiring us is coming and being filtered from the mind, unless we've calmed the mind so much, right? We've calmed the mind so much, creating space with no, and we do that by focusing on the breath and meditation and getting the body prepared for meditation. But by creating that space, we're able to then ascend, as the great ones have said, right? Ascend beyond that state of limiting potential, beyond getting something, beyond having to take what you want, but literally being a receiver of the things that are fulfilling for you, inspiring for you, that allow you to serve, that allow you to give, and in that giving you become the receiver. And that's the reciprocity. That's how it works. And so I just wanted to share that little nugget with you. So share with me your thoughts below. Hi, Becky. Good to see you. Rachel, James, good to see you guys. So I'm going to continue on my path here. Wow. That's an interesting way to experience being a human. That's a really good way to let in a thought, rather than keeping your past associations of what you don't like. Oh, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. It's so limiting. And it literally stunts your expansion. It stunts it. If you can just feel that, it literally puts a hold on it, versus versus the expansion, versus the immersing into, versus the expanding into. Just check this out. It's very muddy today. Muddy, muddy. Can you hear the rain? Can you feel your breath? Can you feel your body relax and calm and not worry or not fixate on anything other than where you are and how you're feeling in this moment of just simple ease. It's very simple to consider what it's really about, but it's not an easy transition, and sometimes we can get into mood patterns, right? We can get into mood patterns. We can become moody, and we can attach our emotional state into something that doesn't serve us because it just keeps us locked into a paradigm from the past, which, as Maslow said, is just the hierarchy of needs, just trying to remain, fight or flight, trying to remain in survival. And it's something we can transcend. We have the ability in our brain to transcend that. So the sun came out today for the first time to say hello to us. It's been raining for, I think, 3 days now. It's been raining for 3 days and I haven't seen the sun. And so now I'm just enjoying the sun. How beautiful, right? This moment that led me right to it, that led it right to me, because I followed my intuition of the moment I waited for the pouring rain to stop, deciding to come out, and then to be able to stop here and connect with you guys. Are my eyes turning? My mom said my eyes are turning the color of the forest. Probably. So that's interesting, right? The reflection behind me, because the sun is this way. So I've got a little aura. It's nice. We want to massage. We want to massage the good moments. We want to massage the good moments. We want to. I made a post a couple hours ago that the mind is like just a glob of clay, and we can do whatever we want with the blob of clay. That's up to us. It's our choice. We can believe in the narratives outside of us. We can believe in what our lover says to us, or our spouse, or children, or teachers, or bosses, or yourself. And you can buy into any of that, the media, right? That's up to you. And your blob of clay, your mind, is going to mold based on what you're letting in, based on what you're allowing in. And so it just becomes that. And so my teacher says a lot of times, if you were to write down your thoughts with a bunch of people in the room, it'd be easy to see, or to point out, these thoughts are this person's, these thoughts are that person's, because we're so projectory, we project so much of our thoughts. So of course we're being what we're thinking, and we're thinking from the feeling, but it's actually, thoughts do precede emotions, but it seems the opposite. It seems like I'm feeling and then I'm reacting, but it's the opposite. It's actually thoughts come in, and then we feel, and then we react or respond. And so it's important to understand that, this blob of clay in my mind is something that I can mold to what I want it to be. And that's all of the people that you respect. Think about someone that you respect, dead or alive. This person put themselves on a path and decided to cultivate, like a craftsman, as my teacher says, cultivate their mind. And so we get to do that. We get to do that. That's our choice. In our life experience, no matter what is coming into our from the outside, is literally just a reflection of what of karma, of what we've been doing, of how we've been thinking. Everything that I'm experiencing now and seeing now is a byproduct from the way that I was behaving before, and it's like catch-up. So reality manifestation, this reality is literally just like unfolding because of the way that I was being or expressing my thoughts yesterday, this morning, yesterday, right? And so it's important in meditation and in our practices on our path to be aware of how we are crafting and molding that lump of clay in our mind. And it's easy to see when you meet somebody who is living in a state of mind where their sense of self is only coming from their association with stuff that's outside. And that is not the truth. That is absolutely not truth. The truth is what I create is coming from how I'm being and thinking and then feeling. And then from that experience, it's just, is it deliberate? Is it intentional? Is it on point and purpose? Have you been aware of where you've been putting your focus and attention? Have you been clear, crystallizing that? Intentional about it, obsessed with it, as Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich said, away your obsession? Or have you been an innocent bystander? Have you been on the sidelines just watching the game? I was watching a TED Talk a couple nights ago. I'm gonna get going on my Stephanie, right on. I'm gonna get going on my trail here. But I was watching this TED Talk, and this woman was talking about orgasms. It was really interesting because she was a coach therapist. She was really wonderful. She was very animated, and she was sharing a story of a couple that she had worked with, and I'm going to share it with you really fast. It's not at all like the way she tells it, though. And so on the TED Talks, you know, she was saying how this couple didn't really like each other. They weren't making time to make love. They were really disconnected. And she said, really, it's not about sex. It's not about liking each other or not. She's like, it's about intimacy and creating space for the connection, and also creating a sense of clarity in terms of, I like it when you do this. Not focusing on what the person doesn't like. You know, she was saying, the woman kept saying, well, I don't like it when he does this. And the woman responded back, well, what do you like that he does? And she said, well, I like it when he does this. And so she would say, okay, go home and you know, every day for the next week, every night, just do that. And it was like a little hug embrace. And so they would do that. And so they would come back the next week, and she said, so how did it go? And they were like, we're getting along better, and there's more chemistry, and it's kind of fun and cute, and I'm not focusing on the things I don't like about him. I'm focusing on the things I like. And so it's about that connection, but it's about being deliberate and intentional. It's not just like, ugh. And one of her quotes, which was what I wanted to share with you, she said, imagine like staying in the mind of the past. She even said, like, men with porn addiction and stuff, or, you know, men that have a tendency to pleasure themselves versus being in the experience with others. You know, she said, imagine that you've been watching football games for the past 5 years, and then all of a sudden you're asked to go play on the field with the pros in a live game. Pad up and go. And she, you know, the whole audience was so, they laughed, of course, hysterically. You know, but imagine, like, we keep these past association patterns in our mind of the way things were, and then we, like, create this fantasy and try to live it out in our head. But it's not a real expression of us. It's just something that we're trying to make sense of or feel good about in our own minds, but it's not really how we're being. And so she said, like, how are you being? How are you expressing yourself? And what is it that you want to experience? Like, are you okay just playing with yourself Like, or do you want to have an experience with another human that takes you to another level? And she said, but that's different. It's not that it's like hard work. She's like, it's fun and it's exciting and it can be amazing and ecstatic and blissful and connected and deep and wonderful. But it's about being in that moment and being okay with the cultivation of it, with, you know, the nuance of being in that space and not needing to know what comes next, not predicting what comes next, not anticipating what comes next, not manipulating what comes next, but just being in that state. And that's what creates that magnitude that we all desire, right? So anyway, I'm going to proceed on my path. It's just so wonderful here. So let me know what comes through for you guys. You know, today my meditation on my walking path here is I'm envisioning and experiencing my ideal expression come through, and I'm walking into that. I'm creating that feeling and that sense, and I'm starting to cultivate that. And then as we do that, as we intentionally, deliberately set that into place within our mind, I'm preparing my mind for then living it out. And so then living it out into the reality is literally just an effortless manifestation. And then all the things that I'm wanting are coming to me on my path because I'm open to it, because I'm tuned into the abundance of it, because I'm operating outside of the paradigm of my past mind. I'm not fixated on the past, so then I'm not creating, I'm not recreating past patterns. I'm not reliving old shit. Like I'm not living in a state of fear as well, of worrying about the future. I'm not planning per se, but I'm intentionally dropping into the moment of, well, what, you know, I'm creating and like a cauldron. I'm cultivating. That's alchemy, right? You know, like a witch's brew. I'm cultivating that experience. I'm cultivating that within myself, intention, and then I'm feeling it in the body. So I'm having the experience. And then what comes through is my ability, my creative ability to then my attention to focus on those things that then just, boom, lead me there. Path to it, or the direct path from it to me. And I promise you, it happens like magic, and it seems like, well, why can't everything, you know, come to me that effortlessly? And it's because we have this clenching attachment resistance to the way that we're thinking about things, and so we're just literally reliving the past things that are already indented in our mind, which, you know, comes to like the indentured servant, you know, which a lot of women in my family, I'm the first female to go to college in my family, and, you know, a lot of women in my family were just moms, you know, they were just housewives, and they weren't very happy and fulfilled, you know. It's just because we all want to experience this expansive energy, creative energy. It's what we're here to do. I mean, that's why we're individuals. That's why we have an individual mind that's a part of the collective, but it's why we're individually, you know, able to focus in on our own thoughts, our own experiences, because it's something that we're asked to do in this experience. We're asked to express something that is of our highest intention, to create from that space. All right, guys, I'm gonna enjoy the rain now, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. Awesome. Hi, Charlie. Good to see you guys. Nathan, Teresa, Janet, good to see you. Rachel, Sabrina, Randy, Jose, good to see you guys. So curious as to what unfolds for you. What is it that you're wanting to deliberately focus on? What is that? What's the deliberate intention? What's the experience that you want to unravel and live and expose yourself to and be exposed to? What's that? What's it feel like? What's it look like? All right, guys.